I want to share a little bit about how I got here and some of my training background, because they're woven together. My life experience and my training are really woven together. Um, and I took down a couple of notes because I realized this morning when I was remembering chronologically remembering my life, or major events. There's quite a few that led to me picking up the call or answering the call to do this good work. And we say good work um, in some Indigenous, um, cultures, but not just cultures, in some Indigenous gatherings. I've heard the word good works, to do the good works. Um, it was a call, and I came into it naturally. I was also scared to take the call, um, and not so much anymore. It's a profound love for the medicine. Um, I did experience childhood abuse. I did, not at the hands of my parents, but at the hands of a loved one whom I trusted, and it was quite traumatic. And I experienced abuse probably from the age of around 9 to 21, pretty consistently. I feel like, once we've experienced abuse, so many of us take on negative beliefs about ourselves, about that abuse, that we're responsible. I've heard women say, I attract men like this. That belief kind of changes and morphs, and we apply it in different ways as we get older. None of it is true in my belief system. We're not attracting. Um, do we embody particular habits that others pick up on? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And in that sense, to be generous, I would say maybe you could call that attracting, but I think that's too simplified and not implicit enough, not explicit enough. Um, Victims of childhood abuse, victims of abuse do develop trauma patterns. They develop beliefs out of trauma that can be picked up on by predators, by people who are abusive. And um, we can, I was manipulated and preyed upon, quite literally. Um, so that trauma led to a decision to help others. It was like everything in my body said, I want to work in a transition house for battered women. I want to work on a rape crisis line. I want to do this work. And as part of the social service worker program in my early 20s, it was necessary, a prerequisite to volunteer. So I volunteered on a rape crisis line. I volunteered at Vancouver Rape Relief and Women's Shelter, and I became an activist. I became a feminist activist who spoke out um, against violence against women. Um, it was a very profound time in my life, and I learned a lot during that time. I learned how to do peer counseling. I was a rape crisis counselor. I answered a rape crisis line. I often accompanied women to the hospital, accompanied women to police reporting, um, and was an advocate for women during that time. I spent 3 years on a rape crisis line and 3 years in the women's shelter as an advocate for battered women. Um, I sat with Attorney General of BC. I sat with the chief of police of the Vancouver Police Department. I sat and did advocacy in those meetings one-on-one. Um, I helped develop the wife assault policy. I advocated for women to have the police follow that policy. And I advocated for women with social services. I advocated for women on the board of the BC Yukon Society of Transition Houses. There is all kinds of levels of work. That was part of my calling, to be that social activist on behalf of women. But after 6 years, I began to get depressed. I burnt out. And I was diagnosed with clinical depression. At that time in my life, I was also diagnosed with PID, pelvic inflammatory disease. There was the manifestations of trauma were beginning to show. At that time, um, I intuitively knew this, but didn't have any medical support for that theory. That these were the physical symptoms of the manifestation of trauma. um, CPTSD, as we call it, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I actually don't think it's a disorder. I know that's what the medical community calls it. It is complex post-traumatic stress. I could understand that. I don't think it's a disorder because our body is only doing what is natural, and it's a bit overloaded if we are not receiving the assistance to process trauma. Our body gets overloaded because it stores it. This is what I know now in through somatic experiencing and through trauma research. We know this now scientifically. And back then, it wasn't that common. Um, when I left that activism, um, I began to look into holistic medicine, complementary medicine, alternative medicine. And the avenues that I went was Indigenous healing, sweat lodges, uwipis, healing circles. Um, I went through energy work, Reiki, healing touch, um, chakra clearing, chakra work, learning about the chakras. And I went to massage, aromatherapy massage, lomi lomi massage. There was a long period in my life where I was learning about energy healing, indigenous medicine, contemporary shamanic practice, which is different, and massage and essential oils, the plant essence, the medicine of plants, and how to apply them to the body. Um, that time period was a real time of expansion and opening up to um, universal energy, to great spirit, to the creator, to the power of prayer, to the power of ceremony, to the healing power of circles and community, to the healing power of our hands, our energy, and how important energy was in building relationship. So I was receiving education from kind of contemporary white dominated culture in the form of healing touch and theories about quantum physics and such. And I was also receiving instruction from elders and teachers who were saying, we always knew this, right? We know that building right relationship with the plants around us, the animals around us, and the people around us is a good way to walk in the world. That all that education, I began engaging that in my early 20s, and I still haven't stopped. I'm 57 now, and I'm still learning and still engaging, still building relationship, and now I'm facilitating healing circles. Um, there was shamanic teachers that taught me specific protocol to travel into the world of spirit, to gather medicine and bring it back for my clients. There was specific training and safety protocols that I learned from teachers like Christina Pratt, Betsy Bergstrom, Richard Gossett. There was Michael Harner and his wife Sandra Harner were two of my very first teachers in that style of healing. There's controversy around the word shamanic, and maybe I'll talk about that in another video. Um, but I do want to say it did become its own thing, and those teachers were given protocols and medicines by their teachers. There are lineages behind those teachings, and I was blessed enough to get teachers with high levels of integrity, that were not appropriating, that were given teachings to pass along, very specifically. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Spirit leading me to those teachers, but I'm also grateful to being given um, an intuitive knowing about who to choose as a teacher, both in partnership, being shown the teacher and also knowing in my bones that this teacher had integrity. Um, what else? So, trauma created, this is my opinion and my belief and my knowing about my own body. Trauma has been the source of numerous illnesses throughout my life. I mentioned the depression and the PID. Well, there was IBS and IBD as well. And, um, you know, when I was learning about massage and energy, it was, it felt like I was learning about the heart and the spirit. I mean, I was doing personal counseling for myself, going to art therapy for my own healing. So, all the way along, I was also receiving my own healing, shamanic healing from teachers and peers as we practiced on each other. Um, and there was the heart and the spirit. And I began to recognize that there was patterns of thinking that I was really having a hard time unraveling. Um, and I met this fabulous woman doing some healing with her son David. I know she would mind me saying so because, um, she shares this story and has given me permission to share it. But her name is Sherry Hood, and she's the founder and teacher of the Pacific Institute of Advanced Hypnotherapy. And her son David was very sick, and I met them going to healing circles for him, and he was a beautiful human being, and so is she. And I was introduced to hypnosis. She helped me quit smoking. She literally saved my life, and or helped me save my own life. Um, And when I quit smoking so easily, I was blown away. I looked at her program and I decided the healing hypnotherapy would be awesome for the healing of the mind. So it's, heart, emotions, spirit, soul, and mind. Like these are points on the medicine wheel. And so it fits. So I studied clinical hypnotherapy, and I've been practicing it ever since. And I integrate it. I integrate hypnosis techniques into all of my sessions, just about all of my sessions. I'll say to somebody, "Well, this is a hypnosis technique," and just teach them one, so that we can unravel the negative thoughts that we've been taught about ourselves, especially in moments of trauma. And we can, um, good morning, Laura. And then we can replace those negative thought forms, those negative beliefs. We in my Indigenous teachers would be, we could heal the sickness of the mind with hypnosis. It's awesome for that. And create new thought patterns, positive thought patterns, positive beliefs about who we are, how we heal, how we can walk in the world, what is our power, empowering beliefs. Hypnotherapy is awesome for this. Integrative hypnosis is how do we integrate that into our everyday life? How do we integrate hypnosis in a way in our language where we're actually speaking to ourselves and creating magic new it's some would call it magic, some would especially when you're talking about indigenous beliefs, we would be creating a good way of thinking, we would be creating good prayers, right? And in hypnosis we're hypnotizing ourselves, we're telling our unconscious, um, we're showing our unconscious really positive ways of embodying and feeling and thinking. Okay, so that's integrative hypnosis. It's also about embodying those beliefs, uh, which I want to start to wrap up. There's a lot of years. I'm covering a lot of years here, from like 21 to like 57. So um, there's lots that I've left out, but that's okay. There's lots of details. I'm giving you a general picture. How did I get here? So the other elders brought me here all the way along. Hi, Ninanaskaman. I'm grateful. Elders brought me here. I bring some of these new concepts or these, contemporary concepts to elders, and they would kind of giggle and they would go, yeah, we do that with this. I mean, in indigenous cultures, we calmed the nervous system with the drum beat. Boom, 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 boom. We, um, we processed emotion through dance. We processed emotion in ceremony like sweat lodges, sun dances. We we process at the same time that we're praying for healing for others. We process at the same time that we're chopping wood for elders for the sweat lodge, while we're gathering wood for elders, while we're gathering foods. We shared teachings. We, um, drum and sang our emotions, our feelings, our prayers. So, um, you know, it was integrated. Regulating the nervous system was integrated in all cultures, all over the world, into daily life. Um, and here in our modern society, with colonialism and capitalism, we're being called way out into a different vibration. You get on the highway and it's rush, rush, rush. You get to work, do the work. And it's a rhythm and it's an energy and it's a vibration of stress. It's stressful. Let's just put it that way. And it's out of line with our natural rhythm, which is to take periods and moments of rest. So, take rest. Even if you need to go into the washroom at work and spend 5 minutes. And yes, you're orienting to your, you feeling yourself sitting on the toilet, feeling where you are. Maybe instead of pulling out your phone, maybe you do this. And you spend a moment imagining a memory of joy. Imagining a memory and feeling that joy in your body. A moment of peace that you've had in your life. Maybe you're even remembering a moment of meditation. A song, a favorite song. Maybe you're rocking your body a little. Maybe you like to rock this way. Oh, slow it down. There. That's better. I can feel the shift. That, this was too fast. It wasn't calming. It was activating. And that's the difference right there. That subtle difference made the difference between activating my nervous system and calming it. So what I'm teaching you right now is another technique, and that is somatic experiencing. That has been the last 4 years. The gift of COVID for me, the gift that it brought was calming. My life stood still. I was sick with IBD and IBS. I couldn't work anymore. I got really sick in 2019, but it began in 2017. I was diagnosed in late 2019 with ulcerative colitis, and 2020, everything stopped for me. And that was good. It was a blessing for me. It slowed everything down, and I began to study the effects of trauma. Not just how the body keeps score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. How the Body Keeps Score. Phenomenal book. Had to put it down and process some trauma, pick it back up. Phenomenal book. Somatic experiencing, I studied. It's Dr. Peter Levine's, who's also an expert on the effects of trauma on the body. And this comes to the final point of the medicine wheel, the physical. So I've studied modalities that are spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical. Complementary modalities that come together holistically make up the medicine wheel, and those are the sessions that I offer. So that's one story about how I got here. And I think I can wrap it up there. My name is Monique Wilson. Monique Gaudieu. Gaudieu is an adopted family name. I saw that my sister adopted it, and I took her lead. She was leading that, stepping out and claiming our ancestry, and I followed her. I followed her lead. So hi, gratitude to her. And I live in Maple Ridge, BC, Canada, and I do these beautiful healing sessions online. I'm available online as well as in person. I hold an in-person women's healing circle once a month, and I am in the process of developing an online women's circle. I think it's actually going to be a circle open to everyone. A people circle. um, yeah, so I'm not sure about that yet, though. We're still in development. Um, but I'll have an online circle. I will be holding sweat lodge ceremonies in the future. And those, you need to get a hold of me to know about those, to find out about those. How do you get a hold of me? You can go to my website. Please visit my website, actually, because it really supports my visibility on Google. It's the way the system works. If you once in a while drop in and read a little bit on my website and share it with others, www.moniquewilson.ca. moniquewilson.ca. MoniqueWilson.ca. .ca, and I can put it, actually, I'll write it right now in the comments. Look at that. Now, getting me to do two things at once is, there we go. There we go. That's my website. And my healwithmo@gmail.com is my email. And those are contacting me through my website or my email is the best way to get a hold of me. Please don't message me on Kokum's Den. I am getting so much spam since I've been using Kokum's Den for ads, using Facebook for ads. I've been totally targeted through Kokum's Den. So my message box is just full of spam. So I really don't even like to go there. I haven't figured out how to delete them as they come in, and without it being tedious and time consuming. So please email me. It's direct, rate, and I check my email all the time. Sometimes it will take me 2 or 3 days to get back to you because I have a lot of email. But that's okay. Please, I'm not rush. I'm not in a rat race or not a gerbil in a wheel. I'm a human being who's taking care of her nervous system. I'm a woman who is indigenizing her life. I call it indigenizing because I'm calling back old ways of walking in the world. I'm learning how to be more in line with my nervous system and my natural rhythm. I'm decolonizing. So, be patient, but mostly I respond pretty quick. And my website, please share all that. And if you have more questions, I'll probably share more next time. In 2 weeks at 11 a.m. on Kokum's Den. Thank you.